Hello, podcast fans. Adam Carolla here. I'm leading the fight against patent trolls who are threatening this medium. It's not about me. It's about the podcast you're listening to right now. If I go down, this show could be next. So visit fundanything.com/patent troll for more information on how you can keep podcasting alive. Thank you and mahalo.
His skin is white just like a ghost, thick Irish roots and his blonde hair. And he sounds like a Chicago superfan, a music nerd with a collection of CDs from here to there. Yes, Andy Dare is in Chicago, interviewing and barbecuing. It's the Andy Dare Show. It's the Andy Dare Show.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking out the Andy Dare Show. I'm your host, Andy Dare, and today we got episode 116, and I'm joined by a real cool dude, Tobin Sprout from Guided by Voices. And yeah, we've been in talks for doing an interview for 2 or 3 years now, but finally he sent me a message on Sunday morning, on Mother's Day morning, saying, hey, I'm going to be doing interviews tomorrow. Would you still be interested? And I said, of course. One of my favorite bands, one of the most important American bands of the past 30 years, Guided by Voices, really, you know, they really made an imprint. They really did their own thing. They never really tried to succumb to the whole pop zeitgeist. And they made, super intelligent albums, they definitely captured the spirit and the essence of classic rock while completely staying modern and, doing their own thing. So they have a new album called Cool Planet out on Guided by Voices Incorporated Records, and that's out this week. I definitely highly recommend it. Cool Planet out now, and Tobin Sprout's been with the guys since they began in the early 80s, and Robert Pollard is the leader of Guided by Voices, but Toby, as he likes to be referred to, he gets a couple songs per album. He's kind of, as we say in the interview, he's kind of like the George Harrison, and he always brings, 2 or 3 awesome nuggets on the album, and they're a great band. If you're unaware of them, they've been around for almost 30 years, Guided by Voices, the pride of Dayton, Ohio, and a lot of people refer to them as the Kings of Lo-Fi, because, a lot of these albums were just recorded strictly on a 4-track cassette recorder, and, bounced then onto CD and bounced onto vinyl. But, they always had their own sound. They always did their own thing. Robert Pollard is a genius. The guys are also known for being completely super prolific, and the quality of music still stands high, and the guys have been doing it for a long time. If you want to learn more, do check out the book written by a past guest of the show, James Greer, and it's called Guided by Voices, A Brief History, with the subtitle 21 Years of Hunting Accidents in the Forests of Rock and Roll. Once again, by James Greer. It's a great read. They have such a cool history to them, such an awesome story. So do check it out, and be sure to support real rock and roll this week and buy the new album by Guided by Voices, Cool Planet, out now. All right, what else is going on? I've been contributing articles to EmptyLighthouse.com. It's a new cultural website, kind of like a Pitchfork or just a cool website that gives reviews and features about TV, music, movies, all sorts of stuff, live shows, live events. And I'm going to be doing album reviews and little features about music, obviously. And this week I did my review for Neil Young's new album called A Letter Home. Did I love it? Did I hate it? Was I lukewarm? Just check it all out at EmptyLighthouse.com. I want to thank EmptyLighthouse.com for having me on as a writer, and also having Tyler Cale on as a writer. And Tyler Cale, part of Dare Network, my little podcast network. On Mondays, you get a cool show from Staten Island, New York City, the J Porks Experience, doing concert reviews, music reviews, and news, whatever you like. He's a funny guy. I like to claim that it's kind of like Seinfeld meets the Ramones. And, every Thursday you get a show from Hollywood, California. That's the Tyler Kale Show. He's obsessed with doppelgangers, obsessed with actors, actresses, the whole Hollywood lifestyle. And if you're into that thing, you'll love Tyler. He's a funny guy, full of pathos, full of charm, though, as well. And then every Saturday, you get a show by me, The Andy Dare Show, coming to you straight out of Chicago, Illinois, and hopefully doing some interesting interviews and reviews. And I've had a blast chatting with some of the coolest musicians on the planet Earth, Tobin Sprout being one of them. And, we've done over 100 episodes, been doing it for over 3 years, and it means so much to us. If you want to support, all you got to do is go to theandydareshow.com. You go to the right-hand side of the page, you find an Amazon banner, you go straight to Amazon, and you purchase the new Guided by Voices album, Cool Planet, or you purchase some Material Issue music, like the guest we had on last week, or you purchase the new Bob Mould album, Beauty and Ruin. You pre-order that because it's not out yet, but that features Jason Narducci, another past guest from this month. And there's a bunch of stuff, bunch of things you can support our guests and support our own show at the same time. You spend 0 extra cents, 0 extra dollars, but you tip your cap to our little creative endeavor, now over 3 years in the making. And it's a simple, easy thing to do. We appreciate everybody who has done it before. And if you want to do a little bit more, all you got to do is go to patreon.com/AndyDare and become a member of the Andy Dare Show for $1 a month. And you'll get charged on the first of the month. And, we'll be able to keep on continuing to bring you awesome content, awesome interviews. You know, we put a lot of work into this show, and it means a lot to us. If you'd like to support us, it means so much. And just want to thank you, the listener. Want to thank our awesome sponsors. And want to thank our awesome guest this week, Tobin Sprout. Here is episode 116, Keep It in Motion with Tobin Sprout. Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking out the Andy Dare Show. This is episode 116. I'm joined by a real cool guy, Tobin Sprout of Guided by Voices. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Andy.
You guys are celebrating another new album out this week, Cool Planet. How was it like recording that one? I heard you guys did that in the middle of, this terrible winter we just went through. So.
Yeah, it was brutal, I think, for everybody. Had a pretty nasty winter, but we went down to Dayton to a studio called Cybertectics, which is an old school studio with it's got a couple of 2-tracks and a bunch of old equipment and mics and stuff, and it's been there for practically forever. And I'd recorded in there before. But we decided to do some songs there, and it was 15 below zero when we were there, which is pretty unusual. It's normal, up here in Michigan, but down there it was pretty unusual, and just tons of snow, and so we'd record and then we'd go out in the car and listen to them, and it was just it would take your breath away to be sitting out in the car trying to listen to these songs. But anyways, we got through all the songs, and I think we were down there for about 2 weeks.
Geez, I'm up here in Chicago. We got hit pretty hard, as we normally do.
Yeah.
But Dayton, Ohio, usually it's a little bit more temperate over there. Is it a thing of, recording an album in the summer, you guys kind of want to get done with the session and head outside and, go play catch or something? I don't know, go have a barbecue outside, and so you're not really committed? Is it more of you're super focused because you don't really want to leave the studio?
I don't know if that really matters. It just happens to be when we got together to do the album.
Nice.
We do record in the summertime, sometimes in Mitch's garage and sometimes, in other studios. But the weather doesn't really have a whole lot to do with it. But I only have heard a couple tracks from the new album, but I did read a little thing that said that you got a couple more songs that you normally do on the album. For my listeners, Toby's kind of like the George Harrison of Guided by Voices, where he has a few tracks on each album and they're all stellar, but Robert Pollard's kind of the main man of the band, correct? Yeah, he writes probably 5 songs to my one song. I mean, he just knocks them out. I don't know how he does it, but I think I've got 5 songs on this album. One of them I co-wrote with Mitchell,
sure.
Called The Bone Church. and he kind of recorded some stuff in his garage. He's got a little setup, and then sent it up to me, and I threw some vocals on it, sort of the same way I did Down by the Racetrack.
Okay, cool.
He sent me kind of an instrumental demo, and then I kind of threw in some. He had drums on it too, but I threw some extra drums and then another guitar and put some vocals over it, and that's kind of how we put that together. So
nice.
It's kind of neat. It's not kind of neat working with him. I hadn't really worked with Mitch before, so we're I hope to do a few more songs on it.
Cool. Yeah. How was it after that long hiatus? I mean, you guys had your farewell show at the New Year's Eve of 2004 to 2005, actually at the Metro Chicago, and but then you guys took 6 or 7 years off doing other projects, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was that. Maybe it was that many years, but that was kind of it until this Matador thing came up, and they wanted the original lineup for this one show in Vegas, and once we decided to do the one show, we just why not do a few more shows, and from that we started getting calls from all over and awesome. We ended up doing I think a 3-week tour out west, all over the country, and things just worked out so well. We just went ahead and decided to make Factory.
That's awesome.
Factory album. And then snowballed from there.
And now you're on your 5th or 6th release since Reforming. And
yeah, this is the 6th.
That's awesome. And
yeah.
So is this a kind of thing where you're recording for, Guided by Voices Incorporated, so there really is no label like breathing down your neck? You're working on your own timetable, which is always fast anyways, but there's really no input from anybody in a suit, right?
No, there isn't, and that's kind of how we can put an album back to back like this. A regular label wouldn't allow that. So, and even the EP that Down by the Racetrack was just sort of thrown in the middle because we did extra songs over and no B-sides left. So, we just put them out when they're ready, and then we're on to the next one.
Is it more of a thing of trying to, is this Bob Pollard, testing himself and having you guys test yourselves out by, okay, let's get back to the studio? Or is it just a thing of, the Stones in the 60s, the Doors, they all released, 2 or 3 albums a year. They always kept constantly moving, it seemed. Is it more of an homage to that?
Right. The Beatles were released, at least 2 a year, and sometimes and the double album. So I mean, it's not that unusual. I think it is today. I think the companies like to work them for a year, one at a time. But back then they were putting out albums all the time. It wasn't a big deal, and then singles between that.
Yeah. So being a collector was a serious deal in the 60s and 70s, and now I'm kind of like the only one of my friends that's a serious music collector. I like going to the record store. The record store day was phenomenal this year. I got to meet Kim and Kelly Deal up at Reckless Records in Wicker Park, Chicago. That was awesome.
Oh, really? Yeah. Did they do an in-store?
Yeah, they did a little pared down kind of acoustic, electric, little session with no drums, and some new songs. She got it in a nice little a little jab at Satan in Hollywood, if you know who I'm talking about, Frank Black, and but then they did a meet and greet. They couldn't be more Midwestern, more nice ladies, so it was awesome.
Yeah, they're neighbors.
Yeah, are they from Dayton, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We hung with them for a little bit. I noticed you have a record store. Or you had a photo with that you're in a record store?
Well, I got a long-time sponsor, and it's kind of cool because I grew up there pretty much. My dad took me in a stroller and one of those backpack things when I was a little kid. Slowly but surely kept going. Then I got a job after college and worked there for 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And then the guy retired, but he sold it all out to a second-hand type deal. So now they got records, they got power tools, they got vintage music gear, they got all sorts of stuff. You got colorful people bringing in weird stuff to sell. Like, hey, do you want this gasoline bottle or something? I'll give you nothing for that. But if you want to buy something, that'd be cool. Yeah. But it's just a cool thing. I just still like the atmosphere of being in a store. Telling people, hey, you should check this new Neil Young album out. It's recorded in a 1947 vinyl booth. Yeah.
Right.
Have you had a chance to hear any of that?
No, I haven't. I mean, it was like a 78, the Speed 78 when they used to make them right there on cut them right to the disc.
It's him and Jack White up in Jack White's studio, and the whole thing was recorded straight in a booth. So it's just the most wobbly, hissy, you can hardly make out what's a guitar and what's a harmonica. It kind of just all blends in. But, you know, in classic Neil Young fashion, he starts...
Those are the...
What? Yeah, he starts off
like
the album. He starts off the album with a cool little intro where he's speaking with his deceased parents, and he's kind of using this booth as like a way to communicate with the dead, and it's just kind of creepy, but also very, you know, heartwarming too. So.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Nice, but yeah, you guys were always known about the lo-fi, and when it did come to when Pollard was trying some, you know, out the big studios, you know, with Rick Ocasek and stuff. I mean, it was good, but it just didn't feel like Guided by Voices for a lot of people. And you weren't a part of the band at the time, right?
No, I wasn't, but I managed to get on just about every album.
Yeah.
I had either a song that was left over, or I had some kind of credit on there that I did something on it. And then a lot of times I just show up and Bob would have me come in and play piano or something. So it was kind of, you know, I stayed in touch even though I wasn't there.
How many members? I mean, I read the Jim Greer book about Guided by Voices. What is there, like 40 or 50 members that have been a member of Guided by Voices at one time?
Probably, yeah. I bet if you look back through, even, you know, when we played in Dayton and before I even knew Bob, there was some, you know, lineups that came in and out. But yeah, I think I saw just about every lineup from the time I left, and there might have been one lineup that I didn't see, but I pretty much tried to catch them, and when they get to Grand Rapids, I'd go down there and see them. So
nice. Yeah, I got a friend, Kevin Matthews, up in Grand Rapids, an old radio guy. But yeah, like, is it a thing of when you go to see a show, is it a lot of past members showing up and you guys all see each other? Is it still a friendly community, the ex-Guided by Voices members and the present ones?
I'd say for the most part.
Nice.
Yeah, Doug's going to be playing with us on the East Coast. He's doing some shows with us coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah, you got a couple sold-out ones in New York and D.C., it says, right?
We're going to be playing Philly, New York, and D.C., and I think Doug's going to open those.
Awesome. Yeah, so everybody kind of stays close. And then you guys are just playing a handful of shows. What, is there one up, like, in Madison I saw? Here.
There's, we got the East Coast, and then we're going to head out west, Des Moines, Omaha, Denver, Spokane, Portland, Seattle,
nice.
Santa Cruz, San Francisco, L.A., San Diego, Phoenix, Lawrence, Kansas, Madison, at the Barrymore, and then I think we're doing one in Chicago. At there's like a green festival or something, and then see our last show. I think that's Then the last show's the Minnesota show. Yeah, it will be the last one on that leg.
Don't you guys have a manager up in Madison? Is that Rich Turiel, or was he one time a manager? He follows me on Twitter, and we talk back and forth about GBV stuff. So. Yeah,
he does it when he can, but he's obligated with something else right now. So we got another manager, but yeah, Rich has been managing ever since I got back into the band.
Cool, nice.
Yeah.
And are you in? You said you're up in Michigan, or where do you live?
Yeah, it's just about 45 minutes from Traverse City north.
Okay.
From the little peninsula we sit between Lake Michigan and Lake Leelanau.
Nice.
We can walk to both lakes. It's just kind of this little thin strip of land that goes between there.
That's really cool. And
nice.
And you have grown kids and everything, correct?
Yeah. My son's in college, and my daughter will be a senior next year. So.
Have they got the musical itch like you, or is it the other way around where they don't want to have the musical itch?
No, they both have the itch. They both record and have their own songs, and they're way into it.
That's really cool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just got a couple more things if you got the time. How about when did you first start with Guided by Voices? Is this all the way back in the 1986 era, or was this a few years in?
This would be I think you had about 82, 83. Yeah, I had a band called Figure 4, and we used to play around Dayton, and there was kind of a scene starting up back then, and I used to play this one club, and Bob came in a few times, and eventually, we got together and started talking, and from there, I joined Guided by Voices for the first, I don't know how long, but I was in Guided by Voices for a little bit. Then I moved to Florida, and then when I came back, we were recording. They were recording Propeller, so I went to the studio with them, and that was supposed to be the last album, and it just kind of took off because Pete Jameson had sent them out to these people to review, and all of a sudden we knew we had fans in New York and out in L.A. and things just kind of took off. And from that point, then Scat got a hold of us and Matador, and there it is.
There it goes. Yeah, back then was Scat like the big name of Ohio to get signed. Like I was talking on the show last week. Like in the '80s, it was cool because you had scenes in every. It was kind of a fragmented country full of scenes. You had SST out on the West Coast. You had Touch and Go, where in Chicago you had Sub Pop up on the Pacific Northwest. And so Scat was the one, or Scat was the name to get on, right?
Yeah, Scat was kind of the cool label, the Cleveland label at the time. So,
nice.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, I thought that was a big deal. It is a big deal, but I mean, at the time, I thought, okay, Scat signed us, we made it. That's it. So.
And you had no idea B-1000 was right next around the corner, right?
No.
Well, that's really awesome. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out.
Okay, thank you, Andy.
Yeah, this will be released on Saturday, so Cool Planet will be out in stores. And what is the exact Guided by Voices website? I always get it confused.
There's a robertpollard.net, and then there's I think it's guidedbyvoices.com.
Okay, cool.
Usually, you can find it on Facebook. It comes up pretty quick.
Yeah, you're on all the social media sites.
Yeah, right.
And how about this? Is Robert Pollard a big social media guy? Because I do see him post a lot of stuff on Facebook, but it just seems like it wouldn't really he wouldn't be a fan of it, or is he? And
No, he's not really a tech guy.
Yeah, he's not too techy. He's probably got a guy posting all that stuff.
Yeah, I think his wife's on Facebook, but he's not.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Once you hit a certain spot in your career, you don't really have to worry about spreading the word as much, which which is nice. But yeah, Cool Planet out now. Just want to thank Toby for taking the time out. Any last words, man?
No, that's it.
All right, thank you so much. On behalf of Toby Sprout, this is Andy signing off for the Andy Dare Show.
This episode of the Andy Dare Show is brought to you in part by Uncle Bub's award-winning barbecue in Westmont, Illinois. Family owned and operated since 1997, Uncle Bub's is the real deal barbecue. A family-friendly restaurant open 7 days a week. Also, it's a full-service catering company doing weddings, pig roasts, luau's, grill packages, you name it. They have a friendly, helpful staff that will make sure that your party goes off without a hitch. Call them at 630-493-9000. Visit them at 132 South Cass Avenue in Westmont, Illinois, and UncleBubs.com. Hey man, I know you like grilling. I know you like getting those dark grill marks on your burgers, fish, chicken. And I know you don't want to just dry your meat out like you're cooking with a hairdryer. Why not get the Man Grate and click through the AndyDareShow.com's banner so we can keep the lights on here at Honeycomb Hideout Studios in gorgeous Westmont, Illinois. The Man Grate. This episode of the Andy Dare Show is brought to you in part by Record Utopia, a music lover's dream with thousands of vinyl records, musical instruments, and sound gear. They buy, sell, and trade. Give them a call at 630-963-1957. Visit them in Westmont, Illinois at 309 West Ogden Avenue, on the web at recordutopia.com. It's always a good, relaxed atmosphere. Check them out, Record Utopia. Be sure to follow Andy on Twitter. That's at Andy Dare. And like our show on Facebook. That's facebook.com/The Andy Dare Show. Videos at youtube.com/Andrew Martin Dare. And we're on iTunes. Just search The Andy Dare Show. Please leave a review. Thanks so much to our wonderful sponsors, Uncle Bub's award-winning barbecue, Record Utopia, The Man Grate, and Amazon.com. Theme song courtesy of Rich Banks Music. Thank you so much for checking out The Andy Dare Show. TheAndyDareShow.com. Now here's my cover of 14 Cheerleader Cold Front. Thanks to Toby Sprout for the interview. Cheerleader cold front, put your nose beyond creeping boys in alleys. Find them when you're gone. Stick close to locker room. wave it close to where you will hold them dear to something queer instead. 16 used companions have nowhere to stay. Give them access to parking spaces, no coin meters there. Stick close to locker rooms and wave it close to where you will hold them dear to something queer instead. You will hold them dear to something